to offload.
This is great work by both teams. Forcefully put down by Rogers, and there's a breakout.
Look out! Can they catch this man? Habana, he's done it again! Habana from his goal line, a turnover Australia. And the turbocharged winner.
Hi guys, welcome to the first episode of the RugbyDigest podcast. We are broadcasting from a very cold and very wet Cape Town. Just to give you guys some context as to what we're about and who we are, we love rugby. We watch a lot of rugby. We talk about a lot of rugby, and we decided to share some value with like-minded people out there. So let's get this straight. This podcast is all about the fucking rugby. So, to introduce who we are, I am Chelsea. I am the editor of RugbyDigest, and with me I've got Jakub and Zubair.
Hi guys.
Hi guys.
So how does it finally feel to have won a trophy? I mean, it's been 10 years in the making. I'm feeling pretty fucking stoked.
Yeah, it's epic. 46-13 to the box against Argentina this past weekend.
Dominant.
In Argentina as well. It's been a while since we produced any result close to this against any team. It's been a good few years since we've dominated any team to the level that we did on the weekend.
I mean, I'm pretty stoked. Things are looking up, but I also don't want to get too far ahead of myself and ourselves. We shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves because, I mean, the World Cup's a month away and we're definitely on the up. But I think the Oaks just need to head down and push on, one game at a time from here.
Yeah, great result. Everybody stepped up. The team as a whole kind of are eating their steps. But Yassi has now kind of put his faith in a certain starting 15, which has come together now.
I think the overall squad itself is looking
The
fantastic.
overall squad is looking stacked.
Well, it's saying he's like 80% certain on his World Cup team now.
Yeah, there's a couple of positions probably that are up for grabs, but the core squad, I think the forward pack is set. Aside from maybe one or two,
Maybe Trevor starting.
and that's probably possible.
RG potentially.
I don't think
Wirth.
RG will ever start. I don't think he'll start ahead of Mustard, just because Mustard's engine keeps the Springbok team going.
Fantastic performance on the weekend.
He had an absolute stormer. It was his best game in a Springbok jersey, I think. His best all-round game. He added dynamism and he finally got his hands on the pill. A nice inside ball from Kitsi there. Coming up the bench was sensational. I love it. The forwards are definitely coming together. They had one of their better games in a long time. The most dominant performance I've seen from a Springbok forward back in years.
I know. I'm also keen to break the curse,
Yeah, what? The curse. I don't see it as a curse. If I look at where we were in 2016, 2017.
Well, there was
And when
doldrums of depression, to be fair.
Yeah, when Rassie took over, they gave him the 6-year contract with the view of probably 2023 being a realistic target for the World Cup. From where we were getting
at an
pummeled.
all-time low.
Yeah, 4 out
Literally.
of 12 in 2017.
We lost to fucking Italy.
Oh no, it wasn't 4. It was 2016 where we won 4 out of 12.
Yeah.
But we weren't much better in 2017. And from that point to where we are now, just the fact that we are going to be competitive at this World Cup, I can't see us conceding more than 20 points in a game. If that, have we even conceded? No, I think our highest was 16 against New Zealand, in New Zealand. And even that was one breakout try. They weren't knocking at the door in that game.
Yeah, they weren't
It's
pummeling
not like
us.
Argentina looked like scoring at all. Maybe in that first game where we rested a few guys against Australia, it wasn't our
But
our
even
first
then,
team.
not for a moment did I think we were going to lose that game either. So
Not at all. In the first game against Australia, it was our B team and we held them off. They made a few breaks. They probably left a few points out there. But once we get the big boys going, I can't see any team scoring more than 15, 16 points against us. So with Pollard kicking the way he's kicking and kind of running the show,
Mm-hmm.
it's looking positive for the Springboks. It's looking seriously positive going into the World Cup.
It is indeed. Can't wait. Should we head into the match review then?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what were your thoughts? Who were your standout players?
To be fair, I think having Trevor back in the mix made a massive difference there. Definitely didn't go unnoticed.
Yeah, starting, he finally got his chance starting ahead of Malherbe was just a fat slob. I don't understand what he's doing in the Springbok squad. He's
Yeah.
the most unfit player I've ever seen playing in the international game.
Well, on a positive note, we absolutely pummeled them.
This
in the
scrum is a
scrum.
joke, guys.
It was.
This scrum is an absolute farce. To have a scrum that's that piss poor at the international level is actually disgraceful. I think it's the weakest scrum I've ever seen play from a top tier nation in the history of me watching the game of
It
rugby.
is actually an embarrassment.
And our lineouts?
Our lineouts were great.
I mean,
For a
we didn't
change.
lose a line. Well, Bongi didn't lose a line out.
Marks, when he came on also, they were both quite solid. The lineout was great, but I think also Guido Petty not starting who's probably their best lineout option and
Yeah.
one of the top stealers of a ball at the lineout was probably good for us. It allowed our
Definitely.
players or us to get uncontested ball a lot of the time. Where if he had started, he is world class. He's a youngster.
is.
He's only 23 now, but this season has shown that when he's in the starting lineup, he's a game changer and a game breaker for them. So I expect him to come into that tight five at
Definitely.
the World Cup, and he'll make them stronger. There's no doubt about it.
Well, they're going to need quite a lot of reinforcements heading into this World Cup. I mean, their forward pack is one of the weakest I've seen from an Argentinian forward pack in a long time. I don't think I've ever actually seen an Argentinian tight five, let alone entire pack,
I mean,
as weak as it is.
if we sum it up, scrums suck.
Their back row is actually great. Their back row is one of the better
Matera.
back rows in the world, I
Agreed.
would say. But you can't do anything without a tight five, and
No.
without a
Without a
front
front
row. If you're going backwards at the rate of knots that they are, you are not going to win many games, and it shows because they've lost 22 of the last 26 international games, which is
An embarrassment.
I know, it's shocking. So we shouldn't actually be getting ahead of ourselves here.
No, well, we
At
should.
all.
I mean,
Because they are actually a piss poor international team.
But-
And they have been for a long time.
and in saying that, even through Springbok greatness, we still picked up a yellow card along the way.
Yeah, which was deserved. Faf
Yeah.
doing... it was cynical, it was a yellow. If anything, I think we scored in that period.
Yeah,
and
we
they
did.
didn't
We
score
scored
at
it,
all.
yeah.
So yeah, the confidence in the defensive structure is... Wow, it's been a long time. I think the last time we've been playing with this kind of focus was 2009. Was 10 years ago when we did win the Tri Nations at that
Yeah.
time. That was probably the last time I've seen a complete team where the pressure we are putting on other teams is creating errors and we are actually being clinical and scoring off of those. You remember that 2009 team with Johan Smith, Danny
Oh.
Bissau,
Yes.
Bismarck, when they were coming forward and making hits, teams were going backwards and making errors. And I see very similar
Well, I mean, the pressure's building.
situation.
This is the ultimate warm up to the World Cup. I mean, this is us actually gaining momentum, putting on our game faces, and preparing.
We are gaining serious momentum at the moment.
Definitely. And at the same time, I feel like we're even holding back a bit.
Yes, because there's a lot of things that we are not
Can't leave the ball
doing.
at the starting gates.
There's a lot of things that we are not doing, which, like we were talking about earlier with Faf and his running game, which has been non-existent this season, which is kind of weird because he made his name off of
He
that.
burst onto the scene being
I
one of
haven't
the
seen
better
any
running.
of that, and we kind of saw a bit of it in the Argentinian game where Nick White was jumping out of the rucks quickly, popping
You
out,
mean the New
testing
the New Zealand
the-
Australia game?
Yeah.
testing the defense. Yeah, I'm actually excited to see what Rassie has up his sleeve, because
Well, imagine
it
how
does feel like
excited-
we are holding back a bit.
Imagine how excited Rusty is. I mean, he's got pretty much 80% of his squad decided
I
for
think-
the World Cup.
I think he'll
Ahead
keep
of
the
this
boys
weekend's
on the
game.
ground. Their feet will firmly be on the ground, though.
With competition so strong, they have to. Everybody has to be on their A game. There's still a handful of positions that are up for grabs, and people know that they have to give 120%, or you
But
are
it's also
not
going to be
gonna make the
the
squad.
mental fortitude going into this. Mentally, you cannot crumble at this point. We've got all our ducks lined up, and if they just keep their heads screwed on right.
Well, I
We're
mean,
looking
we'll talk about the lineup for this weekend a bit later. But
Yeah.
even then, so many different changes and so many oaks
Absolutely.
coming in there trying to put their hand up, you know?
Exactly. I mean, there probably about 10 guys in the current squad who are nowhere near making the World Cup squad, but who are probably good enough to be playing international
Wait, are
rugby.
you saying we actually have too much talent?
I've been saying this for the last forever. We're the Brazil of rugby, where talent is not the problem. It's just getting that talent
Combinations.
together, combinations, and
Structures.
yeah, like just building around a solid platform. Our strength has always been the forwards. Just get the right
Physical.
players together, bring
So
the
we should
physicality.
Definitely be giving Rusty a gold star on this weekend.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
He's done
100%.
everything he could this season. We've looked a far better, more complete team than we did last season,
Well,
where we were a bit hit and miss.
This is-
1 week on, 1 week off.
that's looking good.
Yeah,
I mean, the
Thank you.
outlook it's a positive outlook, and I know as a fan, I'm feeling very confident.
Oh,
Like,
okay, so
trust
let's
is
not
being
get ahead of
regained for me.
ourselves here.
But I mean-
What do you say are the weaknesses in the current situation
Listen,
going on? In the current
uh,
starting lineup?
I would say
Um,
in the starting lineup, my only question mark is Vili. Well, for me,
he's-
he can be very much hit
Hit
or
and
miss.
miss.
Hit or miss. And
Definitely.
Again.
at the same time, I don't know, like I'm just not 100% sure about him, and we've seen him cost us games single-handedly, and he's the only guy I worry about. in
He
that
he
entire
worries
team.
me.
He does.
He is the biggest worry
He's
because
kind of like
he
a
is,
handle with care, fragile package, but
he hasn't been on form. Like Faf as well, they've both kind of been. I feel like they've been holding back almost. They haven't reached anywhere near the levels that they have done in the past for
Maybe
the
they're
Springboks.
still finding their feet.
But yeah, Vili worries me in a knockout game, because we've seen it. He averages like 2 or 3 kickouts on the full, at least a couple of handling errors or forward passes under no pressure. Then there's also, I mean, what other weaknesses does the current squad have?
Faf's kicking on the weekend was
Yeah,
pathetic.
was atrocious, man. I mean, we
Poor guy.
can't go into. He really needs to work on it. After us praising him a few weeks ago, like, he was not great on the weekend. That was not a great performance at all. I thought he was pathetic, actually. And Janches is piling on the pressure. Like, he came on and he looked lively as fuck.
Well, he's putting his name out there.
He is. Pity he's injured this weekend, or he's got a little head knock, so he's out of the squad. But I'm liking what he's doing. He hasn't done anything wrong yet, and he's doing the things that Faf is not doing, like making those mini sniping breaks, and
Yeah. He's taking on the line a lot more now.
he is.
what I
and,
like to
and he's
see.
getting the platform. The forwards are laying it. Peter Steph de Toy, I'm actually sexually attracted to you. Every day, like,
Okay.
every game that goes by,
He's just
the
getting
chub
better
goes
and
bigger
better.
and bigger, mate.
Yeah, but he's also he's finally found his role. You know, I think
Yeah.
he's always been the BFG, and
Yes.
he knows he's. But there's finally like an edge on him.
I remember when
I mean-
the last time the under-20 Springbok team won the championship, which was at Newlands, so we beat
Yeah.
New Zealand. Was Serfontein was the the young player of the year. Peter Steff was playing at flank in that tournament. I remember seeing him and saying, he is so talented. He went to the Sharks and he came through as a lock and then moved back to the Stormers, and now he's finally found his way back to blindside, and he just gets better and better.
He's like
man.
a fine wine. He's actually getting better with age.
His attacking game has improved so much this season. I mean, nobody doubts his work rate.
How good was that kick even?
Yeah, against Australia.
Yeah.
But even on the weekend, he had a little try assist to Colby, even though it was a mile forward.
It was.
I'll take it.
All
But just
day.
the fact that he's there, he's been there. He's in those positions, in support, running those lines in the trams in that 15-meter channel,
I'm
which
loving
is
the
where
support.
he can be devastating with his size.
But it also speaks to a player that's found his feet. He knows what he's about.
He's been injury free as well.
Yes, and he's got confidence in his own game, and he's also got confidence in the rest of his team.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's probably odds on to win World Player of the Year at the moment. I can't see another player who's playing on that level. He's possibly the best number 6 going around. He's definitely the best number 6 in the Southern Hemisphere. I'd pick him over any one of the guys in New Zealand, Australia, Argentina.
Definitely.
And then
Well, now that you mentioned New Zealand and Australia, should we actually move
Talk
on
about the game of the
Yeah.
weekend. I mean, I know we won a trophy, but whew, that was some serious game.
yeah, well, none of us called that one.
I don't think anybody could have called that one.
I went
No.
for New Zealand by 20 plus.
Me too, I think.
Yeah, well, let's just get back to what that score really was. 47-26 to Australia.
A 21-point thrashing. I've never seen New Zealand get pummeled like that before.
Well, it was also
It was a
the most
bloodbath.
points Australia have ever scored against New Zealand.
Yeah, I think it's the most points I've ever seen New Zealand
Lose
concede,
by, yeah, concede,
or just
exactly.
concede in general since I've been watching rugby ever.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe the last time was
Andre
90s.
Joubert and
Yeah, like the 90s, where the scores were like quite high between the Box and New Zealand. But even then, I can't remember the Box ever scoring.
What's so beautiful about the outcome of that game is the realization that we've put such a demigod status on New Zealand and New Zealand rugby, and you know, you always go up against them, you're like, oh, you know what, we really want to win, but chances are, and now that those favors have changed, it's completely shifted.
definitely,
It's
I don't
any
think
man's game,
I don't
actually.
think any of their tries were convincing either. There was not a point in the game where they were pummeling Australia, even looking like they were gonna score. They didn't score any convincing tries either. Like the first try was super scrappy.
Yes, it was. I think it was Anton Leonard Brown. Was that the first one?
Yeah,
Yes, it was. It was immediately after Australia scored.
Yes.
So is this, I mean, we can say it, this is the first step in All Black rugby decline.
And
It's
I
a
wouldn't
gear
say the
change.
first
It's a
step, but
definite-
they
it's a
haven't,
definite
they haven't been
it's
looking
a-
themselves
it's
for
a
a
gear-
while
I've
now.
thought about this now over the last few weeks, watching them play, and maybe we've just been overrating them all this time. Maybe, like South Africa have been in their worst, like we've been in our worst phase ever. Australia as well, for as long as I can remember, have also been in piss poor.
And then
Argentina haven't won a game. New Zealand have been walking through this game. Have we just made New Zealand look good? Are they
For
really
a
as
long
good as we
time.
think they are?
Well, have we ever actually truly
Because-
challenged them?
Since the last
last
World
couple
Cup,
years.
we haven't competed with them. None of the teams have. And maybe they're not as good as we think they are. Maybe their players are not as good as they
I
think
mean,
they are,
these
dude.
are all really good questions, but at the same time, the main talking point in the game was that red card, and I think that definitely was the shift in.
It was the defining factor, but Australia were also
Ahead of-
dominating
yeah,
them
exactly.
They were.
before then. A couple of
So we can
breakaway
put the final
tries.
nail in the coffin.
The score was 13-12 to
Australia.
Australia when Scott Barrett got sent off, and that was just before halftime.
And even then, going into halftime, I think New Zealand had made almost 100 tackles and Australia made about 30 or 32.
Which, no, it was 20. Could have been,
No,
yes, it
32.
was minimal. I've never seen New Zealand firstly make 100 tackles in one half of rugby. So, yeah, it's a strange one because New Zealand haven't been anywhere near the levels that we come to expect from them. But again, maybe we have just been really bad, which we have.
We definitely have.
So,
So,
perspective.
yes, are New Zealand as good? Because if we look at even the results, let's say, since the last World Cup in Europe, it hasn't been comprehensive. There have been times where there's a score in it against Scotland, one score in it, where I think it was a couple of years ago where Scotland nearly scored in the last minute to win that game. Ireland have beaten them. England have been
beaten them.
within a few points of them a few times. So, are they really as good as we think they are? They've been thrashing the Southern Hemisphere, but like we said, all of the Southern Hemisphere
See, we
teams have
haven't
been in the
putting up
lowest
much
ever.
of a competition.
Yeah. So
Right.
it's going to be interesting. People are saying New Zealand are in decline. I'm more on the thoughts that maybe they're not as good as we think they are because we were so bad.
Okay. So, just want to say it. James O'Connor back in the mix.
Bad boy O'Connor.
I just
you're saying.
bad boy. No, I call him Golden Boy.
Golden boy O'Connor.
Connor, but I did call.
You did call
I
it.
did call that there was a try coming in from that.
Well, you didn't score.
He didn't score, but
got
he
a chance
sure.
to
He
Sure.
set up, yeah, he set
Yeah,
up 2
exactly. I'll take it. That means half credit.
He had a great game.
He did have a
He
great
did.
He had
game.
a
Looked
sensational
great
game.
at centre.
Karevi again. Oh, that's
Oh, how good was that?
Oh, jeez. That was so good, man.
It was one of the best.
It was sensational. He just ran over 3 players.
Bounced Bowden into another dimension.
I know. You
It
know
was
what? You know
sensational.
what I found hilarious, and I read this article on one of the New Zealand press, and they were talking about how Scott Barrett had gotten the red card for, a straight shoulder / forearm to the head, and then I'm not sure exactly who the scribe was, but he was saying that the Karevi dropping his shoulder into Bowden and running him over
know.
was the same thing. I was like,
It was
are
ridiculous.
you fucking joking right now? You bunch of fucking wanks. And then they've come out with all these articles where they were highlighting these neck rolls and all this shit. They just can't accept the defeat. Like, somebody's to blame. It's never New Zealand. There's always somebody else to blame.
Well, the thing is, if you are playing dangerous rugby, and there's a rule in place,
They've been getting
that
away
stop-
with this shit for
Exactly.
years.
It's way
And-
too long.
And at the
actually.
end of the day, you're not going onto the rugby field to potentially die.
Yeah, no.
You're either going onto the rugby field to win or lose. So the rules are in place in order to protect the players and therefore need to be maintained and applied uniformly.
Okay, I thought that Scott Barrett hit was disgusting. It was disgraceful.
I didn't think it was a
And
doubt at any point. What do you mean? It was a straight shoulder.
Eddie Jones coming out after the game and saying it was harsh is an absolute farce, and it makes a mockery of the game, actually. Because that is one of the dirtiest things I've seen in a long time. It was a straight elbow to the face. Like, what more do you need? He didn't even attempt to wrap his arms. He looked at him and elbow shouldered him to the head.
Yeah.
There is no excuse. New Zealand can say what they want. There's so many people who have come out and said it was harsh and how it's killing the game. But I just find
Okay,
that
so-
is as clear-cut a red card
So
as you are going to see. There is no debate about
Outside
that.
of the rather unruly behaviour, how is the actual All Black team shaping up?
I mean, I have quite a lot of doubts over that Bowden and Moanga combination. I'm not too sure. I think Bowden's best position is always going to be number 10. He's a World Cup
in the world.
It
He's
makes
won
no
World
sense.
Player of the Year twice. playing fly-off. Like, it makes zero sense. And then you've got Ben Smith, who is the best 15 in the world now that Falau is not playing. Like, surely this is just a logical thing. But
I think they just
then
have too many
again,
options.
maybe they are just throwing this little carrot out there, and come World Cup time, Ben Smith slots in at fullback. Bowden goes back to 10, and they're just throwing us all off the scent, yeah.
Well,
we know what
it's a
Ben
pretty
Smith is
embarrassing
about.
way to do
Ben
it.
from accounts. This guy's an absolute mastermind. There is nobody better. Does anybody have a better rugby player? I doubt it.
Another standout, Nick White.
He had an absolute ripper. It was sensational.
It was one of the most complete scum off performances I've seen in a long time. He took the game by the scruff of the neck, single-handedly.
So
Took
is
them
he
forward.
benefiting from playing overseas? Do you think it's elevated his game?
I think it's just made him a more well-rounded player.
It's made him more rounded player, but also being back, it's probably made him more hungry. Like, it's World Cup time, it's time to play, you know. He definitely booked his ticket.
Definitely. He's.
That,
if
that
anything, he should
performance
be
was
starting.
absolutely sensational.
I think you should start with him. Like, come World Cup time. With
You
Guinea
could-
coming off the
Guinea
bench as
coming off
well.
the bench, you're not going to lose any firepower, basically. If anything, you're going to gain more from Guinea
Guinea.
coming off the bench.
Exactly.
Similar to the Springboks with Faf and Jantjies coming off the bench. They're adding a different dynamism, a different form, a different attacking structure, everything. It's exciting. I'm actually excited about Australia after last week. Karevi is just doing his thing.
I mean, their forward
He
back's
might be the
also
most
so
dominant
solid.
12 going around international rugby at the moment. And it's about time he's playing at 12. I can't believe they wasted him at 13 for the last how many years.
Just consistent go forward as well. You know?
He leads the stats in carries, in clean breaks, in defenders beaten. Well, no, Bowden has the most defenders beaten. But Karevi is basically top of every stat, every attacking stat individually.
And that can even be furthered by the fact that he did exactly the same thing when you selected him as a fantasy league player.
Well, you know what
I mean,
he's
He
also
owns it.
a fantasy god.
It really is. I mean,
He is a beast.
we have Falau and we have Karevi. I mean, those were your go-to stables.
Throw in D-Mac and you've got
Oof,
the trifecta.
then you got the trifecta right up there.
Yeah.
So, gonna get interesting this weekend. We're coming up into a second weekend of possible upsets, or do you think we're going in fairly confident? Because looking at the teams coming in, I mean, I'm looking at the Boca team coming in, and I'm really happy to see certain names on the team sheet. A personal favorite of mine is Dylan Late. I am stoked to see the man in a Springbok jersey. He's a little bit scrawny. I do worry about him. Like, he could get crushed. But generally speaking, the South African team for this weekend, it's got a nice... he's mixed it up a bit. Like, Russie's throwing us
he's
for a
arrested
curve.
all the big boys,
Yeah.
which is great. Like, Pollard should not
Yeah,
play another
absolutely.
game until the World
Yeah.
Cup.
Like,
We
Literally.
shouldn't even
Keep
think
him
about
on ice.
playing him
Keep him on ice.
until that New Zealand game. I would probably do the same with Faf. Unfortunately,
He's on the
bench this
Yeah.
week, but that's only due to Janchi's head knock in training this week.
Yeah, I'm also keen to see RG start.
Sure, RG and Lord,
Yeah.
dude.
Gonna be a beast.
They are. When they started for the Bulls earlier in the Super Rugby campaign before Lord's injury, they looked like the best combination in Super Rugby. They are absolutely devastating if they get going. And it looks like they're going to play the full game because there is no... Well, there is. Well, so they actually went for the 7-2 split on the bench. Only 2 backs and 7
Yeah.
forwards. We've got 2 loose forwards on the bench. Khaleesi's back.
Yeah. I don't
Don't-
think he's gonna
He's
play.
definitely not going to play a full game.
Probably just a half, I'd say.
Yeah, they said
He's
he
in
might
back in.
even only play less than half, Rassi. So, Khaleesi's back. I'm excited for Marcel Coetzee.
Oh,
He
one of your
is,
favorites.
you know.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's been a
A
long
little bit of
time
a man
coming.
crush going on there.
Definitely. He is the most complete loose forward in this country on form. If he's on form, he is the closest thing we get to Dwayne, basically.
You know, we've got Skulk Brits coming in as captain. Shout out to him, like one of our.
Shout out Skulky.
We love you. And I think this is also a nice time for him to really put that seasoned experience in a place where it could be best capitalized upon, and giving him that captain hat just for this game will really allow him to see, cool, do I want to be in it to win it, and can I actually lead from the front, and literally lead him from the front.
Well,
I mean, I'm excited to see how he fares, and I think we'll definitely just storm through this Argentinian scrum again.
Well, I mean, they're resting some of their big boys. You got Creevy sitting on the bench. We know that when he comes on, well, normally he's starting, but he's an impact player. So taking him out, it's going to be quite easy to see. But now they got Guido Petty starting.
Look, this
So-
is our third choice front row.
this is it our third? Yeah, it's our
It's
third.
literally our
choice.
third choice front row.
Thomas de Toy, Skulk Brits, Vincent
Vincent
Koch.
But what's
Even
not-
then, solid.
I know, like, can compete with most
And
international
it's
front
a
rows
great
going around.
audition. It's a great audition for Rusty to see, can these guys actually do this? Because I've got 80% of my team decided, and what's making up that remaining 20%?
Exactly, it's going to be interesting because the split, 31-man squad, it's a bit awkward. Is he going to take 5 props? Is he going to take 6 props? Because we know who the top 4 are going to be. It's going to be Malherbe, Kitsi, Trevor, and Beast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best
Definitely.
front row going around world rugby at the moment in terms of depth. So we don't lose anything, someone coming off going. Obviously, there's the Malherbe situation where we know he's an unfit fat fuck. But
Wow, okay, harsh.
It was quite
dude,
hard.
have you ever seen
No, well, I mean, he's
less effective?
Look, he doesn't add anything.
No, he's not adding value. He's adding value, and if anything, he's actually taking a cap that
Could be
many
going
other
to
players
somebody else.
could fit on another
I
man's
agree.
head.
Vincent Koch he could put up his hand this week, and Malherbe could
Absolutely.
be out. You never
And
know.
You know what? Let's hope he actually does.
I'm excited. We know we should destroy them at the scrum.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter
Definitely.
who we play. I could go scrum against them in the front row, and we'd probably be okay.
Just for
Potentially.
just for the listeners out there, I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, I'm a solid
like-
70 kg.
Yeah, you could
But
wear
I'll back
70
my boys.
kgs. Okay. So that would be an interesting showdown. Looking at the Australia-New Zealand team lineups, couple of changes on the New Zealand side.
Yeah, New Zealand. Wow. So is it panic stations now? Ben Smith, they actually dropped him.
Yep,
Ben
they
Smith,
did.
Rico, Ben Franks.
Look, they're also
I mean, Owen
trying out
Franks.
Yeah,
other
Owen Franks, yeah.
combinations.
They are. I mean, yeah.
I mean,
But-
it's quite interesting because we're seeing headlines come out such as Hansen insists he's loving it as top All Blacks trio
Lo-
axed.
That is
Like, who is-
hilarious.
Like, who are you trying to kid here?
I know
Because,
they are talking
like,
it
just-
down so much,
just
but they're
from
in
a-
such
Just from a
decline. It's
combination
actually
point of view, if we're looking at
hilarious.
Owen Franks, Ben Smith, and Rico with a combined total of 213 test caps, like, sorry, I
Yeah.
don't see how you would be laughing.
And the guys coming
at
in,
this.
it's Nepola Lala,
Which is great because
there's
now you
Severin
get
Rees
a
who
nice
has
fresh.
1 cap, and George Bridge who
Bridge.
has like 3 caps. So
But George Bridge has proven
Dude,
himself.
George Bridge, though.
Like, come on, that guy
George
has.
Bridge and Severin Rees are
he's
both
proven
quality,
himself.
but
Super Rugby, we've seen it
Super
come
Rugby
through.
is not this level. They
I
are
know
going to
it's
be
not,
bombed.
but it's not the worst comparison.
They are quality players. I rate both of them quite highly. But, I'm not expecting to see either of them in that first game. Maybe Severis, because I can't see them sticking with this Moanga Bowden access
Yeah,
going
definitely.
into
No.
that game against the Springboks.
No.
Only because it's not working.
Yeah.
As much as they like to talk themselves up and say, oh, there was even one New Zealand article that came out in this week where they were praising the All Black attack and how well they were doing. They scored 26 points with 14 men. Look
Wow.
here, 2 of those tries were soft at best. The one of Laumape where he just kind of caught and ran straight through. That was
Yeah.
not
Also,
And
even
then the Anton Leonard Brown one
Yeah,
where the
that
ball
was
just
so
bobbled,
soft.
like 5 people missed it. They're not creating anything.
look,
It's not
when
like
last have you seen any New Zealanders happy about losing, even if they had a red card?
Oh no. Okay. But to be fair, they so rarely lose. It's a very unfamiliar.
They are trying to
feeling.
find any
Look,
positives
they were
can
happy with a draw against us.
at home, which
That is
which
ridiculous.
says a lot. And those are the breakdown boys who were kind of looking for all the positives out of that game, which I thought was probably the best part of the whole
Yeah,
show.
like we were disappointed with our overall game, but happy with the draw, obviously, not
So-
losing in New Zealand.
I mean, SBW's back in the mix again.
Yeah, he just needs to get game time. He's definitely going to the World Cup. Whoever says that he won't, he's won 2 World Cups,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's going to play the same role. He's the most experienced centre they have. He might not start. I still think that Crotty will start at 12 when he comes
Definitely.
back from injury. But Sonny Bull has played that role off the bench in the last 2 World Cups, so I don't see that changing. As much as Laumape is a game breaker and all of that, and everybody likes to look
And he
at all of
scores.
this, he scores tries, and I just think that Hansen backs these boys, and it's worked for New Zealand rugby before. They've backed these boys, and they're proven. Sonny Bull is proven. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Yeah. Another interesting point is they're stuck with a loose trio of Ardy, Sam Kane, and Kieran Lee.
Indeed.
Who, yeah, I'm not convinced. I don't see it as a viable option. I thought Sam Kane was actually quite poor on the weekend.
He hasn't been looking good for a while. I think Ardy
Well, he was-
definitely is great. He's looking dangerous.
For sure,
anything-
Ardy is Ardy.
Yeah.
Guy's
He
a
is
beast.
indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, I would prefer him being on the bench. Come walk up down. Ideally, yeah, he is an absolute animal.
He's a game changer.
Definitely. Yeah, they're struggling to find a blindsider.
Yeah,
Nobody's putting up their hand for that blindside position in their squad. They don't have many options. I can see Squire probably coming back, but
probably.
Really?
yeah, even though he's not there, he's back in New Zealand
Then-
playing Mitre 10 Cup.
I mean, they're also gonna be missing Brody as well. He's a
Well,
huge
he's touch
miss.
and go for the World Cup, but
Definitely
his
not
back is
playing
no
against
factor.
us.
Yeah,
know that much.
You never know. New Zealand might have some surprises up their sleeve, but
It's fine. The thing is, we're gonna bring that physicality. Whether that's his first game back, we are still gonna
yes,
hit him
We're
we're gonna
hard.
hit him hard for sure.
Australian squad looking pretty solid.
Yeah,
mean,
they
they've-
kept the same
yeah.
starting
Squad.
lineup minus one injury to Rory Arnold,
Yeah.
who has also been playing superb
So
rugby.
no great. No, I think they're just gonna go. It worked, and with a slight iteration.
They haven't won the Bledisloe Cup in 16
No,
years.
wait,
so
so-
16 years, yeah.
this is their opportunity. This is probably the closest they're going
And
to come.
on top of that, they have not beaten the All Blacks at Eden Park since 1986.
Yeah, so
Jeez.
what are we talking?
There's a lot on the
They-
line there.
30 odd years?
Yeah.
33 years?
Yeah, you better
This
get
is a
your
long
maths right
time.
there, yeah. 33
It's
years,
going to be tough,
so
eh?
They're going to be wanting this, and they're going to be hungry for it.
Yeah, but I also see Adam
then
Ashley
you-
Cooper's back on the
Yeah,
bench.
Yep,
they brought
yep,
in
yep.
some experience onto the bench. They brought in Ashley Cooper, Rob Simmons. I'm excited to see Liam Wright, who I thought was the red standout player in Super Rugby this year.
He did have a
He
great-
really
He had a great
came
season.
along. I don't think he'll make the World Cup squad, but he's good.
He could put
in-
his hand up.
Coming off the bench, we won't get enough time to make a serious claim, but he's a player for the future. Then we've got Kenya, Tumua, Ashley Cooper in the backs. Which is quite solid. Their forward pack is coming along. That tight five is
Yes.
looking really strong as well.
Beals picked up form at the right time as
Playing
well.
at 15,
Dude, he is
is
so
his best
good.
position probably. I can't see him fitting in anywhere else. And then Lealiafano, who
He's been
who
playing so well
marshalled
at
the
number
troops
10.
so
Yeah.
well last weekend and the weekend before. He's going into it, and to think a few years ago he had chemo,
But
and
doesn't he remind you of
it's
a
absolutely
school
astonishing.
prefect? He's always so well put together. Always looks like he's got the composure.
He's a gentleman
He's
of the
a
game.
complete-
To think from where, I mean,
gentleman, a scholar,
who
and a
thought he would have
scholar.
been playing rugby at all
Yeah.
a few years back? To make it back and potentially be the Australian first choice 10 is
No,
that is some
great.
turnaround. That's a feel good story
It is.
for sure.
Oh,
Such an advocate for the
guys.
game. I
Yeah,
love it.
It's exciting. It's good that there's Australia are building again, South Africa are building again.
And the All Blacks are declining. It's great. It's great for
Who
us.
knows?
No, there's just a shift in the status quo.
And then Argentina, as if they could just get a front row together, they will be a quality international team and good enough to beat the best teams.
So, my all-time favorite predictions.
Predictions for this weekend.
Yep.
Okay, shall we start with what's the first game is the New Zealand game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New Zealand versus Australia. Bledisloe on the line.
Yo, there's a lot
Australia win and they or draw and they keep and they get the Bledisloe for the first time in 16 years. New Zealand get the win and yeah, they hold on to it for probably for another 10
Okay,
years.
so that's,
Yeah.
not,
These
Most
players.
likely.
that's not a prediction, but
Okay, so what are your thoughts? What are your predictions?
so from my side, I don't know if this weekend South Africa winning is enough for me to say, cool, we're going to go massive margins. Yeah, I think Argentina is going to come back embarrassed. They're going to have a point to prove because then they might as well pull up now. So if anything, I'm saying South Africa to take it by 13.
Okay. So shall we
Exact score?
You know, I never like an exact score. I like my points difference.
Okay, I'm okay with that. So we're gonna start with the South Africa Argentina game then.
Yeah.
I
So,
thought we were just giving our predictions for the weekend. It's
okay, so what are your predictions for the Australia New Zealand game?
Ooh, no. I'd be.
Bledisloe.
Does lightning strike the same spot twice?
I mean, New Zealand aren't going to get another red card.
No. I think they're also going to come in. I think they would have had a hell of a drilling this week.
For sure.
It's like,
They've
They
been
better.
like I'm entirely
questions
sure
are being asked of
they've been emotionally
everyone.
broken down and rebuilt. And I actually think they're going to come back in with a fighting chance.
They're looking soft.
So, if anything, we're looking at a 5-point difference here. And I would like to say, and I hate to say it and I don't want to, but I'm going to put New Zealand to win by 5 points.
Okay.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go against what you're saying, and I'm going to go. I back Australia. They're on the up. They're looking great. New Zealand didn't look, even with 15 men on the pitch, New Zealand didn't look convincing, and this is going to be in Australia.
No, it's in New
Oh,
Zealand.
is it in, oh, is that
Yeah,
in
it's in
Park?
New
Yeah.
Zealand.
Yeah, it's at Ian Park.
Either way, I'm still going to go. It's going to be.
Australia to win in New Zealand.
It's going to be a 3-point difference, but I'm going to go Australia 22, New Zealand 19.
Fascinating.
And then in terms of the South Africa game, I'd say probably the Bucks to win it by 7 or 8. I'm going to go, we'll score 24 and they'll score 16 or 17.
Okay, interesting. I'm gonna be more optimistic on the scorelines. Yeah, I think we could have 2 blowouts. I can see New Zealand, the press and the country as a whole have been questioning the intensity, the passion of these New
The
Zealand players.
integrity.
Yeah, but
It's
that's-
been a long time since they've been under any sort of pressure, especially
also-
from a Southern Hemisphere team. So I am actually looking forward to New Zealand maybe flexing their muscles a bit. I can see them winning this comfortably by at least 15.
Oh, 15, okay.
Yeah. And I'm expecting a big game from... I wouldn't be surprised to see the Barrett Mwanga combo work this weekend, but again, it will come down to their forward pack because their forwards have been really soft this whole tour, the whole rugby championship, and they haven't fronted up at any stage, you know, of any
Their
game.
tight five
Their
has
tight
been
five has
so
looked very
So-
soft. So if they can get front foot ball,
Yep.
then the Barrett
Then you see a
Mwanga combo
Yeah.
will work, but they haven't been getting that. So I think that New Zealand
To win by 15.
Yes, I'm going for the forwards to step up. I'm thinking RD will probably grab himself a little try somewhere in the mix, and I think that Sevuris will put up his hand for that right wing spot. I wouldn't be surprised if come World Cup time we see Sevuris on the right wing, Rico on the left, and Spence Smith gone back to fullback, and Mwanga coming off the bench, because I can't see them sticking with that. Then if I go to the Park game, third choice Park team, the structure is there. Everybody's hungry. There's still some places to be played for. There are players like Dylan Lates, Skylar getting his debut this weekend. We didn't even mention him earlier.
Skylar, shout out.
Skylar, he's coming off the bench.
We back you.
Thomas de Toy, Vincent Koch. There are so many guys. Even Loot, the question marks whether we're taking 4 locks. So does he miss out? I just can't see the momentum's being stopped here. And
either way, the
so
outcome.
so I'm thinking again, I'm going box by 15 plus.
Sure.
Because they're going to be hungry. It's on the high fault. If we get that momentum going, like we should in the forwards,
Janchis is the perfect player to be starting there as well.
We could run up another big score. And again, the only question mark would probably be whether the combinations are obviously not there. So will the defense be as strong as we have said? But
in
again,
summary,
I can't see any team scoring 20 points against the Springboks. So yeah,
so guys,
both games 15 points plus.
predictions are in.
Yeah, end of the first pod.
Best luck to all the men. End of our first pod. We hope you enjoyed it.
If there are any things you would like tweaked, or any ideas that you guys have for us, please just drop us a line, drop us a message on Twitter, or subscribe to the pod.
Guys.
And we weren't joking when we said, and we stuck to it, this is all about the fucking rugby, and I think we really do stick to that.
Come on, Bokke.
please
Come on,
enjoy.
Bokke.
Yeah, Bokke for the win.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.